Saving Our Stories is a videographic presentation linking a generation of retired veterans of foreign wars to our present day. I first became interested in the History Day project when my grandfather, Charles F. Brooks, was interviewed by Winthrop University in South Carolina for the Library of Congress Veterans Project. I have always been interested in history. I watch Band of Brothers and other World War II shows about aircraft and battleships on the History Channel. I have also read books from the Landmark series about Pearl Harbor. This is the gravestone of one of my ancestors that served in the American Revolution. There are many veterans of wars in my family's genealogy, going back as far as the Revolutionary War, both sides of the Civil War, World Wars I and II, Korea and Vietnam. This is the photo of my mother's father and his brother during World War II. My granddaddy Brooks joined the Navy at 17. My grandfather was in active duty when his father died and was unable to attend the funeral. His two brothers are here in uniform. My dad's father served in two wars, the Korean War and the Vietnam War. He died 7 years ago. I never had the chance to hear him talk about his military experience. I met and interviewed 5 veterans at this VFW post. The post commander told me that he is burying about 1 member a month and it won't be long before all the veterans of World War II are gone. I learned a lot while working on this presentation. The most important lessons, I think, are to listen to my elder stories because they are full of wisdom and sometimes very funny. What did you do on leave?
The only leave I had, I went back home to Minneapolis right after boot camp.
The veterans appreciated my interest in the service they have given our country. The post commander told me that Mr. Krenz usually got around with either a cane or a walker, but on the day of the interview he used neither. He was so proud to be honored.
I'd like to tell you an experience I had when I returned to New York. My brother was in the European theater, and he returned to New York one day after I did. And we had quite a liberty together.
Well, thank you for sharing your reflections.
Okay, thank you. Nice to have you.
Mr. Grant is 84 years old and still kicking. He said that the draft should be reinstated to help our younger people and learn how to get along with each other and keep them out of trouble.
And this is me and my good friend Hank, my horse. I'm watering my horse. This is on Sunday afternoon. My mother came to see me. That's my mother right here. This is Hank drinking his water, and this is me right here. And this is me standing in front of his armored car here with a .45 machine gun, the kind they use in gangster movies.
What did you think of officers or fellow soldiers?
Well, your fellow soldiers, you're just like your brother. Learn to like each other whether you like it or not, because when you go in combat, you have to have someone who's going to protect you so you will live next day. Regardless of who it is, whether you're white, green, yellow, you're going to learn to live with each other because your life depends upon his life depends upon your life.
War's end meant an end for many veterans' service, but not to all. Mr. Grant continued to serve until he was honorably discharged in 1961.
Well, I had
a choice. The judge told me, he said you could either go to jail or enlist in the service.
I have watched enough of the History Channel to recognize that men wearing caps like this weren't always respected. The lesson I learned from these veterans was that regardless of whether the public sentiment favored the war, they obeyed their country call and served honorably.
I went in a kid, I came out a man. I learned a lot. I learned that you do something you like. I learned refrigeration as a trade. It kept me fed for 35 years.
Is there anything you'd like to add that we have not covered in this interview?
I think service is good for everybody. You learn a lot. Unfortunately, now they're only taking high school graduates. Back in my day, they would take anybody. Even if you were asked to enlist, to keep up going to jail. Yeah, the military is good. It's needed from say welcome the troops back.
Thank you for sharing your reflections.
Thanks, Patrick. Good luck with this.
It is said that republics are ungrateful, but by erecting this magnificent memorial arch to Washington and his soldiers, the Congress demonstrates to all the world that we hold in most grateful recollection the men who suffered and died here 139 years ago in order that our feeble infant republic might live. How amazingly she has grown, God be praised. Grown from a narrow strip along the Atlantic to continental proportions. Grown from being the weakest among the nations into the richest and most powerful. The free institutions which have enabled us to grow into what we are, we owe to Washington and the patriots of '76. The spirit which animated them animates their descendants today wherever old glory floats. They created this mighty republic. Our most solemn duty, our profoundest pleasure, our highest ambition is to serve it faithfully and to transmit it unimpaired to our children and our children's children to the remotest generation.
I guess the last thing I learned from this project is that I can make a difference by listening. I was honored to have this chance to talk with these veterans, and I believe they are equally honored to be heard. In a small way, I think I have thanked them for their service to our country, and in this small way, I have communicated across the generations that went before me.